Dr. Mike Adenuga, who is the chairman of Cornoil, what he will be telling the shareholders at the meetings coming up pretty soon. That will be something to keep your eyes on. But let's get back to the big story on the street, from boardroom to bedroom. It's all about recession. What are we doing about it, and what can you do about it? Let's get these two-part conversation for the rest of the programming started with Michael Adenuga, who is a human capital development expert, and is live with us here in the studios. Michael will be speaking to what anti-recession practical tools do you need, whether as a corporate level or as an individual. This is a very interesting conversation. Michael, thanks for coming through. We appreciate your time, this very critical time, a public holiday, so we appreciate your coming on the program today. In terms of, if you go back to the recession, as it were, broadly speaking, highlight it for us. What do you consider what the key issues are?
Thank you very much. Good morning. When you talk about recession globally, it's not something that just happened from nowhere. We could have recession anywhere in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. But what we should be talking about really is the tools, the mechanism we need to put in place to actually tackle and combat the recession in place. Now, for my research, which normally happens globally, I have about 10 vital mechanisms that I think the government should be looking into to actually use to tackle this recession. It's quite vital. And it's not just a rocket science. It happens everywhere in the world. But for me, I think we're not really looking into this. Maybe one or two of this vital mechanism, but I can tell you right now, I have 10 vital areas where the government should be looking at.
There are two areas we want you to look at for us. First, on the side of the government, two, from an organizational point of view. So let's start from the government side. Price of petrol, diesel, what are the key ingredient things that you think the government can do, tools, anti-recession tools you've put together?
Right, okay, let's talk about, start with revenue generation, for example. What we practice here in this country is universal tax regime. We shouldn't be so. We should have we should be adopting progressive tax regime, whereby you tax the rich more than the poor or the average common masses. Here, everybody pay an equal level.
A flat
rate tax, so to say. Now, we should be talking about luxury goods. Look at what we have in our society. People having private jets, yachts, luxury cars, and so on and so forth. Those are the areas the government should go into and begin to tax them. If you can afford to live in a mansion, have a private jet, a private yacht, and so on and so forth, they should be taxed.
And expensive whiskies, isn't it?
I'm just coming to that. Alcohol and tobacco as well, for example. You have people having Dom Perignon, having crystals, and so on. You go to parties in a society. We love parties. We are a happy, loving environment, community, or citizen, and you go to party, you have all this luxury champagnes and so on and so forth. If the prices of these things have been taxed, honestly, the government will generate more resources from there. Tobacco.
Wasn't that an idea that was mooted towards the final months of Jonathan's administration, with the then former economic minister, finance minister, saying, look, let's roll these out. If you have all the jets parked there, you should be paying more.
Well, she says so, and the government actually thought about it, but it wasn't done. Obviously, the majority of the people that will be affected are actually in government.
Oh, so this is a running battle. It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
You're the one who wants to pay the tax, but you're the one who also going to make the law. So it becomes a little bit difficult.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so that may be a little bit difficult to implement.
No, but now, obviously, we could tell the mantra of this administration is tackling corruption. And obviously, with the first step that he's taken that we've all seen, obviously, that could be done. It could be implemented easily.
Perhaps we could tax the National Assembly more. Members of the National Assembly.
It looks like you're picking my brain, because this is some of the things that I'm actually...
I'm sitting next to you. Then you are the next brain I'm going to pick.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, before I go to the National Assembly, let's talk about travel as well. Now, if you look at how much we pay to travel out of this country, for example, 70% of the fee is actually in tax. Now, who collects those funds? Where does those funds go into? Now, if the taxes, you fly to the UK now, for example, return ticket is about 300,000. You'll be surprised that the actual price for that flight is around about 50,000. So 150,000 will be noted on your itinerary as tax. So where does the tax? And you have a huge number of people that actually travel out every single day. Now, that's another area where we should have the government generating funds as well. Now, another big one, let's talk about insurance. Now, what we have in this country that everybody is used to is third-party insurance. The reason why we have accidents every day, the reason why we have people who doesn't care about your car or anything else. If we have, comprehensive insurance, right, that everybody pays up, right? We have law in place, we have enforcement in place that ensure that every vehicle on our road is taxed. Look at our motorbikes. We have hundreds of thousands in every locality. Do they pay tax? They don't pay tax. Can't we generate money from those people? The people that are collecting the taxes are the touts who stop them and collect those funds. Those funds should obviously be repatriated into the government treasury. That's a huge amount of money in there. They could actually get in taxes as well. So insurance, focusing on insurance policy, it's another one.
Maybe that's why the Ogun State government says, look, we got to register every cars, every motorcycle, whatever, because they need to pay to the government. The area boys, or what you call the touts, whatever, the bus stops, whatever, get out of the way. This is government's money. You can be ripping the government off.
But no, how many of our vehicles on the road, the commercial vehicle, the private vehicle, the commercial motorcycle, and so on and so forth, are paying taxes? None of them. Another avenue that we could actually implement, the government could put a policy in place to ensure that everybody pays their taxes.
You sure the road transport employers, road transport union, have more money than some local governments?
Of course
because
they do. Individually.
Yes.
Individually, they do, yeah.
Yeah, the taxi parks, whatever.
They collect the money and they go to some private pockets. And it shouldn't be so. Those funds should be going into government treasury. And now, another big one is there, before we go to the other points. Now, another is going to cause kind of like outcry to the entire country. From my own perspective, and this is not to do with anything else, the faith organizations should pay taxes. Look, we are in this mess together. Everybody should chip in.
So you mean the religious houses?
Religious houses, yeah.
Yes.
The churches, if you know how much the churches and the mosques and other faith organizations earn on a daily basis.
You mean they're taking a lot of money?
A huge amount of money. In the West, for example, in the UK, they've been regulated by the Charity Commission. They declare their accounts and so on and so forth. Right? Here, nothing happens. Now, nobody can actually stand up and say, how much are these people earning on the day? And that's why you could see them can afford private jets and luxury.
The Financial Reporting Council's been pushing for this under the new Corporate Governance Act. Folks are kicking against it to have the religious organization, churches, mosques, NGOs, and others. Just let's have your financial statements publicly declared so that we know if you're due to pay tax to the government.
It's actually imperative to do that. I mean, you'll be surprised at how much will come out from those faith houses, organization, to the government. When we're having this kind of crisis at the moment, we should all get involved.
We have just about a few minutes. Yeah. Do you think we should cut down the price of petrol and diesel? I'm sure Nigerians would like to hear that from you.
We should. I mean, that's one of the fundamental mechanisms that I have in place. Look, the price of petrol is being sold at 145 naira per gallon. Now, we don't have constant power in place. Now, the rudiments of this is this. It's quite very simple. If you cut down the price of petrol, you will create more employment because you have huge number. We target the microeconomy. The microeconomy is the base of every economy in the world. Now, if the price of petrol is up the way it is now, you have less people going to business.
A very popular statement, but I'm not so sure Abuja would like what you're saying.
Are you sure about that?
Well, would they want to cut it because someone's got to pay for it?
They're going to make a lot of money because the more, if you cut down the petrol, you have more people in employment. You have more people, artisans going to work, the plumber, the electricians, and so on. So you have more business. Do you know how many businesses close down? I'm thinking even the multinationals has closed down because they can't afford to run. Now, if the price of petrol goes down, you think you're going to lose out. You're not going to lose out. The government is earning about 70% on every 100 naira that we actually spend to buy petrol. Now, if you cut it down, you're going to think you're losing resources, revenue, but you're not. Initially, it looks like you lose now, but you bring in influx of every business that's coming in.
So maybe we just look at the numbers. At this time, what do you think employers can do for the employees? Let's take that as the final up. You've got a lot of grounds to cover, but what do you think can be done? Salaries are not going up. What do you think should be done? I'm looking at the bottom of my pay packet now.
Right. Okay. Now let's think about the trained. That's where I attack this. Most employers in this country are not training their staff. Now, if you don't have skilled staff, your productivity is going to be low. The more you train your staff, the more you have productivity in place. Now, when you have productivity in place, you earn more money so you can pay your tax. Right? Now, the issue now here is this. A lot of employers doesn't want to train their staff because they think it's a wasting resources. But it's not. Because they think if I expend money on this guy and after training he goes to another company, I lose out. But you don't. But if everybody practices that system, as train my staff, you train your staff, it doesn't matter if you leave, you're going to go somewhere else and somewhere else is going to come to me. So now, in that aspect, you have skilled people working for you, more productivity. When you have more productivity in place, then obviously you earn more money. And when you earn more money, you can pay their salaries.
Okay, Michael, the recession just started. We hope it doesn't stay long, but we got to bring you back before the recession is over.
That'd be great. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate this public holiday. Go back home and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Adeleye, human capital development expert, speaking to us on what he thinks are the 10-point agenda, the anti-recession tools that the government, companies, and individuals could develop. The conversation just getting started. Boniface Chaser is a policy analyst and economist. He's live here in the studio to talk about street-level economy. You call it the common man economy. What do you do with your life and your money? That's coming next on the program. Stick around.